Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific Northwest, from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
The American League West champs, baby.
Second time, got it right.
Yeah, I had to be a little quieter because my son is now trying to go to bed.
Well, we're not going to go to bed. We're going to talk about the Mariners
That's right.
and the best season they've had in a long time. So, and guess
Yeah,
what? The fun part is, although they are not playing currently, it's nice because this break was only 6 days instead of multiple months. So, excited to say the least. But before we talk all things Mariners, I want to tell you a little bit about us. We're going to keep it short and sweet. I'm Coach Red, and you can find me at the real Coach Red on X, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and leave a comment or two. And then we've got Kane. Kane, where you at?
I'm over on Twitter, Kane2406, TikTok and Twitch, Kane0624. Also follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. Pause. Do it, freaking do it.
The Mariners, as a whole and individually, have done a lot this year to get you excited, right?
Very, very much.
They win the American League West for the first time in 24 years. Last time was 2001. The cherry on top, the Astros don't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
What a
pretty
sweep
good.
it was. Huh.
That's
Um, Cal Raleigh hit 60 home runs. Julio Rodriguez, 30-30 season. Randy Rosarena, 25-25 season. Josh Naylor, 2020 season. Brian Wu ties a record for most starts going 6+ innings to start a season. What a fun year.
Yeah, I mean, you got 26 home runs out of Polo at the end. Like,
Dominic Canzone batting 300.
spicy meatballs everywhere.
But what this team was able to do in the month of September outside of the Dodgers series when they were basically locked into the 2 spot and really gave everything they had to secure the number 2 seed in a first round bye in the playoffs
Yeah,
was
they
nothing short of amazing. What they were able to do at home until that Dodgers series, the Mariners had not lost a game at home in the month of September. They had multiple road, like they had the 2 wins at the end of the Atlanta series and rolled that into the next roadie where they only lost 1 game on the road. I think at one point they were 17-1 in their previous 18. What they were able to do to position themselves to be a team that got a bye and one that everywhere I look, and it could be slanted because I watch them a little bit longer. You know, you look at TikTok and you see all of these people that are posting their playoff predictions. The Mariners are a pretty attractive choice right now to most people out there to represent the American League in the World Series and reach it for the first time. And I think that's coupled with how well they played down the stretch. What you look for in playoff baseball is, can your pitching staff hang and can you hit the ball out of the ballpark? They have Cal Raleigh, who hit 60. You had Gino Suarez at 49. JP Crawford down the stretch was very clutch in hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Polo, Canzone had the 3 homer outing. Julio has been hot. Gino's seen the power resurge.
Josh
Like,
Naylor hit homers.
Randy Arozarena, although he wasn't putting the ball out of the ballpark during that
Okay.
last week, started to pick it up and was squaring balls up again.
Postseason Randy about to hit so hard.
I mean, I'm so excited for the offense to just see the emotion that's going to come out of these guys, right? And the
Yeah.
fun thing about the Mariners is I would still qualify them as a relatively young team.
Overall, yes.
But when you look at your starters in the field, every single one of them outside of Dom Canzone, it depends on your starting lineup. If Robles is in, every starter has playoff experience. If Dominic Canzone is in, all but one of your starters have playoff experience. Cal, Naylor, Polanco, JP, Eugenio, Randy, and Julio have all been there, done that before. The one thing that's nice is Naylor has had some success in the playoffs, not as much as some of his counterparts. Eugenio Suarez has looked very good when he's been in the playoffs. As you said, Randy is unreal. You're still in second half Julio. Cal Raleigh in the series against the Blue Jays unloaded huge on Alex Manoah before he fell off of a cliff. JP Crawford is the slow, steady clutch guy. Polanco's been a player in the playoffs pretty heavily. Like, you are prepared. And I think that you saw the month of September on what this team can do when it gets hot,
Oh,
especially offensively. We aren't even talking about the staff yet. When you just talk about what they can do offensively and how quickly they can turn and pile on runs, because 1 through 9, every single one of them can put the ball out of the ballpark. Your
yes.
your your two guys that don't do it as often are, if Robles is in the starting lineup, it's Robles and it's JP. But JP has an innate ability to show up when the lights are the brightest.
Yeah. Um, Also, what a September from Julio Rodriguez. Oh my gosh. I never thought I would see this out of him, man. Like, his Septembers have been fine previously, but August has been his month, right? August was mid this year. September, was scorched earth. The play we got out of Julio in September was fantastic.
I think with him kind of struggling right before the All Star break and deciding not to attend was huge, not only for
Yeah.
Julio, but for this team. It allowed awesomely that Randy Rosarina was his replacement. Um,
Yeah, whereas all haters that hated it at the All Star break, what do you say now?
they probably still say George Springer should have made it over Randy Rosarena, but it's either here nor there. It's in the past. But the Mariners do enter the postseason with a hair bit of concern with Brian Wu. Looked magical in his last start against the Astros and came out with the pec tightness. He threw without a ball today. I think the plan is tomorrow he's going to throw a bullpen, but he's not going to be partaking in the scrimmage that's happening. And with that timeline, it looks like he could potentially be ready by game 3 of the series. So, road
This
game
this
at
is
that
my
point.
big question coming into it. Then who gets the two starts?
I think that game 1, your starter should be Luis Castillo.
I agree with you. To be honest, I do.
There's a few reasons I go with Luis. I mean, your other options are Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, who have both in their limited playoff experience. Both have thrown a good game in the playoffs. But the reason I go with Castillo as that first starter is it gives me the most options. Luis Castillo has been one of the best pitchers at home in all of baseball this year, pitching
I
out of
agree.
his home ballpark.
I agree.
So, and he's been absolutely lights out in the month of September, even on the road.
Yes.
I'm going to ride the hot hand a little bit, but if he gets into any sort of trouble, I have all my reinforcements at the ready. I've got Bryce Miller if I need someone to go long in the pen, right? I can go to Bryce early. I know that I'm going to get 5+ innings out of Kirby or Gilbert.
Yeah. I dare say six. I dare say six
I would
out
say
of them
6
two.
for Kirby.
If Logan had that special Walter appearance, it's
True.
six.
I do. I also do love the thought of Bryce Miller coming out of the pen. He was
I
a
think it's
reliever
slotted.
early in college, and he goes, "If I'm thrown out of the pen, I'm going 100% from the word go, and I'm putting it all out on the field."
Good.
And when you look at your guys that could potentially start a game, obviously Wu and Miller are the ones that do not have playoff experience. And that's kind of also why I lean to Luis Castillo slightly because he has the most playoff experience out of all of your starting pitching options.
I think it's smart. I just think it's smart. I know it was the Rockies. I know it was the Rockies. But my goodness, was it not his best start of the year?
What he did against the Royals, what
Yeah.
he did against the Braves on the road. I mean, at the time facing
Yeah.
the Royals were still in playoff contention, right? And you needed those starts from Luis on the road. The other thing that I'm super excited about, Matt Brash got out as one bad inning of the year. He should be locked, cocked, and ready to rock. You're sitting there with Munoz, who can give you a little bit of the chills sometimes, but gets the job done. Bazardo has been great. Gabe Spire has been great. Having those four at the back end of your bullpen really helps quite a bit. And when you saw against the Rockies, Emerson Hancock, when he had that start, holy
Woo!
moly,
Woo!
that sweeper had some action on it.
Yeah, I believe what, six? I think he had six strikeouts
6
in
strikeouts, and
three innings.
I think he got 4.
And then Vargas threw three.
It was special, man. And
For them to like, so Luis was to clinch the division, like was to clinch the division. Yeah.
I I texted this to a few people, and this is a reason like you look at things in baseball and you cannot say that baseball isn't romantic, right? Luis Castillo starts your first playoff game in 21 years when they play the in 2022 against the
Okay.
Blue Jays. Luis Castillo was on the bump and got the win for the first time the Mariners clinched the division in 24 years.
And I believe he plunked somebody in that game because they threw at one of our batters.
Luis Castillo has probably been the most important trade that Jerry Dipoto has made for this team.
Mhm.
Munoz is a close second, and then I think for this year specifically, you know, Naylor's probably clocking in at third, and then if you wanna, you could probably convince me of Gino if you combine both trades into one. So both times he was traded to the Mariners, but they
Gave
put
up play less the
themselves
second
in a
time.
position with the tenacity that this team plays with. And you see
Yeah.
it out of the starters too, right? Blue shows emotion. Walter can show emotion. Kirby,
Kirby's been getting
least
fired
likely,
up.
but he can do it. Miller, The Rock, Gabe Spire,
Dude, Gabe
Mooney.
Spire has been like the most energy, I feel like, when leaving the inning.
This is what the city of Seattle has needed.
I agree.
This is a baseball town. The uncertainty at the beginning of the year with the lack of external moves, knowing that you have this window with the starting staff, they went all in at the deadline, and it happened at the right time. The team was starting to scuffle a little bit. Even after the Naylor trade, there was still a little bit of lackluster play happening. And then once Gino got there, even though he didn't start off pot, you just saw this team start to turn a little bit more. Then you get Victor Robles back, and Victor Robles is a spark plug to this team.
Yes.
Luke Rayleigh and his ability to wear a pitch is been instrumental to this team.
Yeah.
This team is so dangerous come playoff time. They might not hit for the highest average, but they do have a bunch of guys that can get on base. When they're on base, they have a bunch of guys that can take a base and make things uncomfortable while the other team is out in the field. They can put the ball out of the ballpark on any given pitch, even at T-Mobile Park.
Yeah, Cal did it at a very high clip at home this year. I mean, it,
Josh
it,
Naylor, Josh Naylor is still hitting like over 400 at T-Mobile.
yeah, I mean, blank check at this point. Josh Naylor and like the intensity that he brings to this team, it also brings out something different, right? Because when they were getting shelled by that Rockies pitcher, and in the eighth, when he blasted that ball to left center, and Julio like gave me Ken Griffey Jr. vibes, right? Flying around third into home. Like that was for them to for the playoff berth, right?
Yep.
Like that was awesome.
So the Mariners playoff road right now is they play the winner of the Guardians Tigers series. If you get the Tigers, that means you get Tariq Skubal in game one.
You've also handled him twice this
I wouldn't
year.
necessarily say that you handled him twice. You have two wins against him. The first one was 1-0. They tacked another one on the bullpen. I think 1-2-1 or 3-1, right? The second game, they came out and blitzed him in Detroit.
Yeah, he was also taken out, I believe, in the Seattle start by the fifth inning just because of his
Yeah,
pitch
pitch
count.
count. It was early in the season. His pitch count got awfully high because they worked the count like crazy on him.
Yeah,
So I think that obviously Detroit has more talent top to bottom than the Guardians, but Detroit really scuffled down the stretch. They almost missed out on the playoffs, right? They didn't even win the division.
right.
And they were one of the best records in the American League for a majority of the year.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the Mariners, the Guardians were probably the second hottest team in
Correct.
September.
And the one thing is the Guardians always play the Mariners tough by their ability to get on base.
Mhm.
I think that the Mariners were able to find something this year because usually, at best case, it's a split with the Guardians, usually a season series loss with that on base ability. The Mariners have, with Edgar and Seitzler coming in, have morphed this team a little bit. Yeah, they still do strike out at a decent clip, but the power numbers are up, and you're seeing the averages on almost every player on this team
Go up.
up this year. So they're getting on base more. What it's really going to come down to is clutch time, and that's what you're looking for in the playoffs. And you've seen Julio have his clutch moments, not on the grandest of stages, but you've seen it. You've seen Cal Raleigh do it multiple times. You know what playoff Randy brings to the table. Naylor has been clutch year in, year out. And what you can get from Eugenio Suarez, he can go like he did on a 1 for 17 roadie and then come back and basically single handedly win you a game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that this team has heart. This team is unified, and I think this is the closest unit we've ever seen.
Agreed.
Um, the vibes are immaculate. I mean, if all of you watch, like I'm sure everybody watched, you know, the playoff berth after party with them in the locker room, and same with clinching the division. The the way that this team is gelling, man. Also, big shout out Bryce pocketing a second beer.
It was Miller time for him. Um, the one thing that I will say about this team, and you're talking about professional athletes, and I think when you really look at this team as a whole, Randy's kind of Randy. I'm going to leave
Yeah,
him out of this, right? Because you know that he usually turns up when lights are bright. WBC, when you look at his playoff track record, it's huge. Gino just feels like the ultimate team player. You know that that's what you're getting out of JP. You're getting that out of Naylor, but your two young superstars in Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez, they say all the right things for a team first mentality. Cal 100% is team first. And I don't think it can be an act from Julio. Like he's always just gets so hyped for his teammates, right? This is a team where they could care less who the hero is on a given day as long as they survive in advance. And I
yeah,
think that's what you saw down the stretch is it wasn't, it's Cal Raleigh every single day. It's Julio Rodriguez every single day. Down that stretch, you saw a couple of game stretch where Polo was the guy, or Dom Canzone, or Julio, or Randy, or Gino, or
I mean,
JP, or Cal, or Naylor.
yeah, in the games where multiple stars on the team are popping off at the same time, like this is what the fans have wanted for so long. As you said, the strikeouts are still there. I don't care if they strike out 15 times in a game as long as they put up 7 runs or whatever, five, whatever. I'm cool with it.
Well,
Like,
and you saw it against the Astros how, they had that huge second inning where they scored 7 runs and kind of coasted it out. But their ability to go 0 to 100 and really vibe
I
off of
mean,
that is going to be huge. But it's going to come down to those clutch moments, right?
yeah,
Can that starter get out of an inning when there's a little traffic? Can a reliever shut the door coming in with the runner on third? How well are you going to hit with runners in scoring position?
exactly.
T-Mobile Park is going to be absolutely bonkers for every single home game.
Yes, I
And
agree.
I hate to take some recency bias, but how the Mariners played on the road in high leverage situations in playoff type fields against the Royals and the Astros
Mhm.
and taking 5 of 6 is huge. is huge for
Impressive.
this team. And
It
I
was
think it only
so
built their
impressive.
confidence because they were so bad on the road from the All-Star break until the Brave series. So we're really going off of 3 series here, where they had 3 series, 2 losses on the road. But what they were able to do at home, I think it's going to be tough. And I exclude what happened against the Dodgers because there wasn't anything to play for. You're sitting there, you're having guys resting up. Yeah, they had some
Yeah.
guys in there for a while because they wanted to get some stats to where they wanted to be. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter. And it was so
Yeah.
nice to be able to have a Mariners game and go, I don't care if they lose. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I honestly didn't watch the Dodgers series at all. I had other things to do, honestly. I'm ready for playoff baseball. I'm so ready for it. You want to know what the most it's not unfortunate, it's just the unfortunate series of events, right? So I'm going to a hockey game for my son's first sporting event on Saturday. And I'm gonna be down in the Tri-Cities all day. And I'm gonna have to either watch it on my phone or ESPN Statcast it. And it's just it's tough, but it should be a fun Saturday.
It should be a fun Saturday, and it sucks that you might miss out on some
Oh,
joy
I'm
slightly from it. But
it's gonna be on one way or the other.
if you follow us on social media, you don't have to miss out on
Sure.
interacting with us. And you can find me, your boy Coach Red, on X at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment or two. Kane, where you at?
Find me over on Twitter, K2406, TikTok and Twitch, Kane0624. Also follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. False. Do it, freaking do it.
And as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.